Hi, and it's another day to tell you that war is looming, and war is looming between Iran and Israel. And this is because Israel did a strike and killed someone, and that someone has made Iran vow to revenge on the mission with Israel. So Iran has vowed to revenge after airstrikes that killed the Hamas political leader Ismail Haniyeh in Tehran. This attack has fueled fears of a dangerous escalation, and of course this has brought the two countries closer to an all-out war in the Middle East. Of course, this is something people have been talking about that might happen, but the two countries had started doing negotiations and, trying to come together and agree. But with the death of Haniyeh, this now looks like it's a far-fetched and it's a dream. Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, who of course holds the most power in Iran and on matters foreign policy, has vowed that Iran would take revenge on Israel for Haniyeh's killings. His words actually were, let me just read as he said it, "With this action, the criminal and terrorist Zionist regime prepared the ground for harsh punishment for itself, and we consider it our duty to seek revenge for his blood as he was martyred in the territory of the Islamic Republic of Iran. It is no longer a question of if the war will happen, it is a matter of when. If the supreme leader spoke about it, then there is no two way about it. This is going to come. It's been postponed several times, but from the look of things, it is coming." So the truth is that Iran will strike, and that will be terrible because the two nations are really powerful on even atomic bombs and things like that. And with this, the question is, will the US stay away? US in this whole saga, US has been on Israel's side. The question is, will they stay away or will they come in just like they have done in the Russia-Ukraine situation and funded and done all those things that we have seen happen? We can only wait and see what happens. The Israel Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has made a defiant address on yesterday evening, and he said that, let me read his exact words. He's celebrating the strike in Lebanon, which Israel has officially now claimed, and he's vowed to continue with the fight in Gaza. Netanyahu further said, "If we had yielded to the pressure to end the war, we would not have eliminated the leaders of Hamas. We would not have taken over the Philadelphia corridor," that's along the Egyptian border, which he actually terms as the oxygen for Hamas, "and we would not have created the conditions to both return all our abductees and achieve the goals of the war." So clearly, Netanyahu is ready for war. He's taking responsibility for the death of Haniyeh, and he's vowed that he actually said that a lot of nations had been, and world leaders have been reaching out to him and telling him to end the war. But evidently, he's not ready to end that. Now, it seems each nation will put out their best and see what happens. And he actually said that, "I didn't give in to those voices and I won't give in to them today." So he's not ready to end. He's spoken about it. He's all out about it. And we can only wait the when it happens, because it is going to happen. Ismail Haniyeh's assassination just came a day after Israel killed another top military leader in Iranian Hezbollah militant group in Lebanon and the capital, where they had been threatening to break out for months. The Hamas leader was assassinated in Iran's capital after attending the inauguration of the country's new president. Iran's foreign ministry said the US bore the full responsibility of the killing, although the United States has said it had nothing to do with the attack. Remember, former Iran's President Ibrahim Raisi died in May in a plane crash, and the US and Israel have been the key suspects over time, although they denied any involvement. But Iran still holds that the US and Israel were responsible for the death of Raisi. Haniyeh's assassination was the second assassination of a senior Iran allied militant commander in just 12 hours. This was after Hezbollah commander Fuad Shukur, depending on how they pronounce, was killed in another Israeli strike, and he was killed on Tuesday in a strike in Beirut in Lebanon, which Israel confirmed that it had carried out. So with two deaths of very senior people in what Israel considers as their enemies, There is no two way about it. That is war coming. I am not a rumor monger. I am not a war. I'm not beating the war drums. They have spoken about it. I'm just a messenger on this one. So Israel had vowed to kill Haniyeh and other senior Hamas figures over the group's October 7th attack. Remember, all this started on October 7th when the attack happened, and it killed about 1,200 people, and about 240 others were taken as abductees, or rather they were taken hostage. So the attack back then, on October 7th, sparked war in Gaza by the group, which has long been designated as a terrorist organization by both Israel and the United States. Earlier in May this year, the ICC, that's the International Criminal Court, prosecutor's office had requested the arrest warrants for the 3 Hamas leaders. Haniyeh was one of them who was being sought after, and as well as the Prime Minister for Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu. But funny enough, the two nations actually dismissed the whole allegations of being involved in war crimes, and none of them is accepting that they were at war, but both of them are ready to go for, this thing is very weird, that the two nations were being sought, the leaders were being sought for war crimes, but then again they denied no war crimes, but then now there are attacks going on, and evidently that's war. Whatever words they decide to use, it just makes them look like they are better, or they try to portray themselves as better. But the truth is, this is war that has been started by the two nations, and it's a matter of every nation trying to show how supreme or how powerful they are. So the Haniyeh had actually lost his 3 sons, that Hazim, Amir and Mohammed, who were killed on 10th April while they were driving. And he actually said that when his sons died, he wasn't going to stop being the leader, and this was not going to stop the escalation for the talks that were going on to end the war. But he said people die for nations, and a lot of people had died for Iran. So the death of his own sons was not something to change the course for Iran. So as a young man, Haniyeh was a student activist at the Islamic University in Gaza City. He joined Hamas when it was created in the first Palestinian Intifada, that's an uprising, in 1987, but was arrested, and briefly he was deported. The U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken has said that the Washington had not been aware or involved in any way in Haniyeh's assassination, and that a ceasefire deal for Gaza was still vital. Question to you is, do you think with this attack that a ceasefire would happen, when already Netanyahu has taken a stand and said that they were bound to revenge, which we have seen them do? Is it possible that now the U.S. is saying that a ceasefire is vital, when the two nations have outright, the supreme leader of Iran has taken a stand and said they will revenge? Netanyahu, on the other hand, has said he doesn't care. They were ready to kill all these people who were involved on the October 7th attack, and you still want to talk about negotiating for peace. On the other hand, Qatar, which has been on the forefront on the discussions for ceasefire, condemned the attack yesterday by saying that they cannot be talking about a ceasefire when a nation like Israel is involved in killing the key man who was leading Hamas talks, because he was the key lead, so he was the one leading the talks from the Hamas side. So this whole idea of US saying that ceasefire is inevitable, I'm just wondering how inevitable it is in such a situation when the Israel, which the US supports, is the one involved in the killings. Pretty absurd. So from the developments that are happening, it's a question of, the question of war is pertinent, yes. It's not a matter of if, it is a matter of when. Whether we like it or we want to look good and say, like the US are saying, we will have talks, we will solve this problem. The truth is, Iran feels hurt and they have vowed to fight. Netanyahu, on the other hand, has said Israel remains a supreme power. But the question now remains for the US, who are saying they're supporting the talks and all that, on which side will they stand? Previously, they've been on Israel's side. So if Israel decides to go all-out war, are they going to take a stand? Will they condemn them? Or will they do like we have seen them do in the Russia-Ukraine war, where they funded Ukraine so much money, and yet they stand out as people who do not want to get involved in fights? Question for sit and wait. And also the question would be, what are the interests? Why is it that Israel is really pushing for this war? What are their interests? Is it the oil, or what other deals are they fighting for? Number two, why is the US so supportive of Israel at this point? What are their interests? Because the US never gets into fights without interest. That's evident. There is always something they're looking for. So for Iran's case, what are their interests? Because for Israel, maybe they want to occupy those spaces. But for the US, what are their interests? Share with us in the comment section what you think, and also what you feel would be done to end the war. And also, if you think the war is going to happen or is not going to happen, let's engage in the comments section. Thanks for watching. Catch you on the next one.